Richard Chamberlain's life was full with spectacular highs and devastating lows. Did you know that? He was one of Hollywood's most beloved heartthrobs. The life of the charismatic and handsome Richard Chamberlain, whose public demeanor won many fans, was chronicled in today's video. However, Chamberlain's private life was fraught with difficulty. Here we have the legend's untold narrative from his meteoric climb to stardom to his untimely demise. You won't believe what happened to him unless you stick around till the finish. Do yourself a favor and don't miss it. The iconic roles of Richard Chamberlain in Dr. Kildare and the Thorn Birds made him the poster boy for starring men on television. His stunning good looks and incredible talent enchanted millions of followers for decades. Behind the scenes, though, Richard's life was anything but the Hollywood dream he painted for the world. Most of his admirers had no idea that he struggled. Here we will explore his extraordinary life and work, the struggles he faced, and the devastating conclusion that shocked many of his fans. His story goes well beyond his image as a cute heartthrob, and it's much more tragic. Richard Chamberlain's meteoric rise to fame started in the late 1950s, when he was a young actor making his acting debut. In the early 1960s, he received his big break playing the part of Dr. Kildare on the hit TV show. Because of his attractiveness, charisma, and kindness, he became famous very fast. Richard was more than meets the eye. He stood out thanks to his rare blend of charisma and natural ability. Richard became an immediate sensation after starring as the sympathetic young Dr. Kildare. His magnetism and gentleness won the hearts of women, while he was the envy of men. Quickly, offers began pouring in from all around Hollywood for his services. Richard had established himself as a major player in both film and television by the 1970s, when he became an icon of poise and elegance during an era when movie stars were seen as having surpassed their television counterparts. Unfortunately, not everyone can manage the strain that comes with celebrity. On the outside, Richard's life appeared to be going swimmingly, but things were about to start to change in ways nobody could have predicted. Despite Richard's meteoric rise in the corporate world, his private life was anything but. Millions of people loved Richard, yet he was never content with the fame that came his way. His fight for self-identity was a major obstacle in his life. Over the course of his career, Richard battled with his sexual orientation in silence. While being gay was socially unacceptable, and even forbidden at the time, Richard chose to keep his private life out of the spotlight. For a long time, he avoided others seeing the real him. Surviving in an unforgiving environment that demanded perfection was more important than simply keeping a secret. Public expectations, personal shame, and the need to maintain an image ensnared Richard, as it did many celebrities of his era. The demons within him would torment him for the better part of his lifetime. Richard's problems extended beyond his own sense of self. His disillusionment with Hollywood and the transient nature of stardom deepened over the years. He wished his life had more significance beyond the parts he acted in movies. He was troubled by the tension that existed between his public persona and his innermost impulses. A change in Richard's professional trajectory occurred while he persisted in battling his personal issues. The once vibrant star found himself in the background when parts dried up, despite the fact that he still maintained a devoted fan base. During this time, Richard decided he wanted to retire from the spotlight. Richard decided to stop feeling like he was just a bystander in his own life and start making his own decisions after years of that. He reached a turning point when he decided to enjoy his life to the fullest. Richard came out as gay in the 1990s, a courageous decision on his part. A number of things came to pass as a result of that courageous and freeing choice. Even though Richard was well aware that coming out as gay would be bad for his work, he felt ready to finally be himself. Richard discovered solace in being genuine, even though the industry wasn't always supportive of him following his declaration. There is no happy ending to Richard Chamberlain's story. Tragedies in Richard's personal life persisted, even after he came out. He suffered from health problems and isolation in his final years, and he tragically passed away as a result. The emotional toll that celebrity can have on an individual was brought to light by his untimely demise. Despite his outward charm and attractiveness, Richard was, on the inside, a tortured person who suffered from a lack of inner peace. Richard had a number of physical and mental health issues as he got older. As a result of his problems, he became estranged from the industry that had brought him fame. Those who had worked with Richard in his later years recalled him with affection, but the general public never quite grasped the extent of his suffering. Although Richard Chamberlain's death was a private one, his tragic life story shows that even famous people can have hidden agendas. His life was marked by tremendous achievement, although it came at a heavy price for him. Ultimately, Richard Chamberlain's narrative encompasses both moments of success and sorrow. His willingness to share his story and his superb acting skills were two of the many gifts he gave to society. His bravery in living his truth and his will to find serenity in the face of insurmountable obstacles are more important parts of his legacy than the roles he portrayed in films. Richard Chamberlain's voyage was not in vain, even though his story may have ended in misery. The lessons we may learn from his life are that being famous does not guarantee happiness and that we can only achieve it by being authentic to who we are. Even though he struggled mightily, Richard will be remembered not only as an accomplished actor but also as a man who dared to live his life true to himself. Your attendance at today's film commemorating Richard Chamberlain's life and untimely demise is greatly appreciated. We can all learn from his inspiring narrative about the value of being true to ourselves and living life to the fullest. Make sure to hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video and want to see more celebrity stories like this one. Because the lives of Hollywood greats are so multifaceted, be sure to check back for additional in-depth analyses in the future.